Good morning, afternoon, evening. Phoenix here. Episode 8 of my Behind the Mask social experiment for myself. I was just talking to one of my housemates, telling her about this humble show that fulfills this part inside of me that really wants to make vulnerability cool, that really wants to um, continue practicing showing up with whatever is alive and whatever is real and whatever is moving without polishing or editing or apologizing. Yeah, the willingness to show up behind the mask, the willingness to continue dismantling the armor that keeps me from being touched by life and keeps life from touching me. Whether anybody watches this or not, it's really this personal experiment in, yeah, just continuing to carve that pathway forward for myself to just keep on being me, whatever that looks like. It's a mystery. And yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. Um, Being me, being oneself, but following your heart, following my heart. Sounds so lovely to say, oh, following my heart, gonna follow my heart. Though the actual act of following one's heart can sometimes have a lot of challenges, especially when following one's heart is not in a box that other people can fit you into, or is not something that other people might be able to understand. Like one of the things I've been really meeting and facing pretty big time this week is that people aren't always going to like me. People aren't always going to applaud or acknowledge or encourage, even, or empower me to listen to the deep calling that is like only I can hear, the deep calling of my own heart that only I can hear. And it's great when other people can support that for us. The kind of friend, lover, sister, um, teacher, guide, mentor I want to be for others, like to really support those around me to follow their heart, to listen and follow their heart, no matter what that means. Even if it messes with people's um, kind of uh, perception of their fixed reality. Um, and I want to be kind about that because I know that I also have fixed reality sometimes, that as much as I continue to dismantle the known and stay open to the mystery, like there's always fixed beliefs and fixed patterns and fixed programs and obligations and expectations that I have of myself, or expectations that others might have that I think I need to kind of fulfill. Like it's all part of this becoming unmasked and revealing ourselves to ourselves. Though, yeah, I will say that this week I've been really challenged with listening to my heart. And I've been really confronted by people really close to me questioning my intentions or questioning my choices. And that's been really, really hard. I spent a lot of time crying and feeling defeated and feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to kind of fit into this box or fit in, like obliged to this expectation, especially when it's people that I love close. love dearly, um, that I find, it's like, um, challenge my own belonging or challenge my own survival. Yeah, it's like I'm a social creature that in some part of my programming depends on my family and my community and my friends and my loved ones to um, anchor me into a state of okayness, and that I'm like, I can survive here. When one of those pieces of that foundation is tested, tried and tested, it's kind of like my primal, um, anxiously attached parts, they they freak out. And I had that experience this week. And that was really challenging. And what it's done for me, thankfully, is reminded me that I'm just not gonna budge, in the sense of I'm not going to ever do something that's out of integrity or out of alignment with my heart's truth to satisfy someone else's expectation, or to meet an obligation that's placed on me through the lens of other programs and patterns. And it's like, not my problem, actually. And that's really challenging for me, someone like myself who has spent a lifetime wanting to kind of keep the peace and please and be loved and be a good friend or a good sister or a good daughter or a good lover. So many times have I kind of abandoned this truth to like find harmony. And what I realized this week is that that's just not me anymore. And I feel really proud of that. I feel really proud of the resiliency that is slowly being cultivated inside of myself. Not to say that it's not painful. Like, it was a really painful experience, feeling judged and kind of misunderstood and kind of placed in a box, or feeling like there was expectations or obligations placed on me that didn't feel aligned for me to oblige, to abide by. And having to meet that part inside of myself that was willing for that, for a moment. There was these two parts, like this part of me that's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die if I'm not loved by these people. And then this other part of me that's just like, hell no. Like, I'm willing to cut out anything that is kind of not supporting me to be in my truth or follow my heart. This is something that, as I continue to walk this path of awakening and self awareness, is becoming more and more a non negotiable in my life. This sentient, intelligent, like very, very communicative heart of mine that is speaking more. It's like, it speaks in whispers. And the more and more I cultivate a relationship to it, with it, my heart, it speaks louder and louder, and in a language that I can understand. And I love it. I love being able to deepen into this unique place inside of myself that knows, that knows, that knows. Hi, Stace. The direction in which I need to go, even if my mind has no clue. There is a compass inside of me that is like always, always, always calibrated to true north. And that is, at this point in my life, like one of my greatest top values, top priorities, to continue attuning myself to this compass inside of myself that knows. Because this compass can help me traverse the darkness, the depths, the uncertainty, the unknown. And that's fucking terrifying to some people. Some people are terrified by not knowing what they think they know, or not knowing what comes next, or not having life meet their expectations or their plans. I get it. I'm human. I know that part inside of me. Though what I continue to be reminded of as I deepen into myself and deepen into this amazing heart of mine is that this is the way forward. You know, it's like I've spent 20 years of my life like, oh yeah, new paradigm, old ways, let's dismantle them. Like, let's birth the new world. Like, hello, this new world is being birthed right here, right now, from inside of me, from inside of you. And that requires a willingness, it requires faith, it requires trust, it requires courage, and it requires saying no to what is not in alignment with what this voice is telling me inside of me, or what that voice inside of you is telling you, or what that voice inside of any of us is telling any of you, any of us. And sometimes, those there's going to be people in our lives that are just going to not resonate and not vibe. And can I trust that there is something bigger holding me, that if I let go of this attachment to this kind of perceived security of belonging, that there's going to be a bigger net that's going to catch me? And I've been really faced with that big time this week. I'm not here talking about shit that I'm just thinking about. Like, I'm here talking about stuff that I'm living, experiencing, like working through, like digesting, like getting ripped open to experience inside of myself so that I can show up and share with whoever wants to listen. But for me, it's just to give myself a space to express and process, and to also acknowledge and honor the profundity that exists inside of each of us, and to claim that as my greatest gift and my greatest ally. Because following my heart has never steered me wrong. 10 years ago, living and working in Austin, Texas, being a full-time first and second grade teacher to so many amazing young children, that was my life. I had a life. I had a community. I had a job. I had a regular income. Even during school breaks, I was getting paid to travel around the world and dance and train train and dance, which is what I loved. And at one point in my life, at one point in that journey in 2010, after coming home from dancing a 5 Rhythms workshop in Costa Rica with Jonathan Haran, my heart started talking to me saying, quit your job, follow the dance, quit your job, follow the dance. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to quit my job and follow the dance. Are you kidding me? I've got a full-time job. I've got a life. I got money. I've got security. I owned a house in Texas. But that voice just kept coming, kept coming. I was like, whoa, hello. This is what the dance has been kind of revealing as I kind of learn to move and get out of my own way and clear these blocks. That's what's here is an intelligence that's speaking to me, telling me who I am and what next steps to take. And after several months of, no, you're crazy. I'm not quitting my job. What do you know? I quit my job. And I followed the dance. And that dance of my life took me to Burning Man. And that dancing on that Burning Man bamboo dance floor led me to meeting Samantha Sweetwater, who was my first mentor, founder of Dancing Freedom, the woman that I really, I really respected, and I really fell in love with this dance practice. And I saw a flyer that said training in a few months, and I didn't have the money to pay for the training. How am I going to pay for the training? Oh, there, somebody, another circumstance, another opportunity was like, I'll help you pay for this training. I paid for the training with somebody's support and went to the training and met who would become my future husband an Australian that led me to move here to Australia. And here I am 10 years later, no longer married to that beautiful brother, though still here because this place, this country has become my home. And that story for me is what I always lean into when I forget that I'm being guided by something beyond what my mind can comprehend. That when I choose to listen to my heart, despite my fears, despite my doubts, lean into the fears. What's there? What's there? What is this fear inviting me into? This deeper listening, it never steers me wrong. And there's been so many more opportunities, so many more experiences. I share that one because, this week, as I shared at the beginning of my talk, my share, this knowing that I belong here in Australia was really challenged by circumstances in America. My mom is there, and she's no longer supported by my dad because he no longer is on this earth. And, I feel sometimes misunderstood. That like my choice to be here in Australia is somehow like yeah, of course it's in my control, but is it? Because right now I'm listening to my heart that tells me this is where I need to be. This is where I belong, and I'm listening, and I'm not going to do anything other than listen to this heart that knows. And so at the beginning of this week, this knowing, this choice was kind of tested, confronted. Like there's a lot of guilt that I feel at times because my mother is there in America and I'm here on the other side of the planet. And although she's got her family and her friends and her support networks that are there, like it breaks my heart so often to be so far away from her. When like, yeah, all I could do, I just leave my life, pick up my life, move to America to be there close to my mom. Though that's not my truth. It isn't my truth. My truth is to be here with me, allowing this path that is my path to unfold before me. Not the path that, my kind of European ancestry may have followed, which is father dies, youngest daughter moves home to take care of mother. Nah, that's not me. That's old paradigm, one that I am consciously, fervently, unapologetically stepping away from and towards something new. And it's not easy, I know that in being misunderstood, my life doesn't always fit in a box. It doesn't fit in a box for me, let alone to people who don't really know me or people who have different beliefs or follow different paradigms or have different expectations. And what I was reminded of this week is that I got to take a stand. I have to be a stand for my own life. I have to be a stand for the voice of this heart that's guiding me into an unknown terrain that I have never experienced, though it's what I've been calling in. It's what I've been calling in. It's what I've been praying for. It's what I've been training myself up for, to become more and more resilient so that I can stand in my truth, be in my heart, listen deeply in the face of the unknown, because the familiar is way more easier, perhaps in some ways, to attach to and hold on to. Safer. I didn't come here to play safe. I didn't. Like, if I did, I would be living a very, 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 very different life. I'd maybe still living and working in Austin, Texas as a first and second grade teacher if I wanted to play it safe. So yeah, that's something that's been really big for me this week. And yeah, I'm just going to take a moment to pause and collect myself because this topic is very activating and it's very fresh. And yet I'm not running. I don't know where to go next. And so I'm going to just see what arises in the next moment. Yeah, I got it. One of the things that I was confronted with this week was, like I said, this guilt that I kind of felt, this wave of guilt of being so far away from my mom and not knowing how to find the right way forward, which I have since then in communicating deeply with my mom. And God bless her, she's so loving and so supportive and knows that I'm here to fly and follow my heart. The one of the things that was really confronted for me, and this is super vulnerable, but maybe some of you understand, it's like I'm unpartnered and don't have children here, don't have children of my own. And how in the kind of story that was like unraveling me this week is like, oh well, I'm not married, I'm my job is really flexible, I don't have kids, so yeah, I could totally pick up my life and leave Australia and move back to America. But if I was married and I had kids, then somehow that would give me more of a right to stay. Because in the eyes of society, like if you have kids and you're married and you've got like a stable house and a stable job, then your life you're fixed. Though if you are not fixed to any particular place or person or responsibility, somehow it's less valuable and subject to changing at anybody's whim. And that was the story that was running, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm unpartnered, I have no kids, so of course this obligation needs to be fulfilled. Fuck that. Fuck that. The obligation that needs to be fulfilled is the obligation to myself, to my heart, to the path that's being carved before me as I take my next steps forward in devotion to some higher force that I know is guiding me. Whether you believe in God or you have faith or not my problem. I do. I have faith in God. I have trust in a higher power. I have trust and faith in my heart that's guiding me forward. And nothing and no one is going to take that away from me. So test me, challenge me, expect me to move my life, or expect me to make decisions based on somebody else's obligations or somebody else's expectations or somebody else's programs, patterns, paradigms. It's not gonna budge me from listening to my heart that knows the pathway forward for me. And that's the risk I'm willing to take in this lifetime. I may lose a lot of friends. I may lose a lot of respect, but I will never lose my own respect. And if I can lay down and die knowing that I never abandoned myself or never let go of my own self-respect, I'll die peaceful, grateful, fulfilled. And if the way that I choose to live my life triggers, challenges, confronts, makes somebody else uncomfortable, bless you. Not my problem, not my responsibility. My responsibility is to care for this being and to be loving and kind with the choices that I take and make that support a bigger family, a bigger shift in consciousness that is what I came here to be a part of. So that's it on the table, behind the mask. I'm here to be part of a bigger shift. And if that means being on the other side of the planet from the one person that I love the most, so be it. Because I have faith that we are all here growing, learning, expanding, supporting, living by example so that we can all rise into the highest form of who we came here to be. And if I'm not willing to be that for myself, I'm not really serving anybody. Going home and being close to my mom so she has like her best friend close, like, is that really gonna be part of this bigger shift? Yeah, maybe, but that's not what my heart's telling me right now. So instead, I spend every day calling my mom, loving my mom, living my best life so that my mom knows that me being so far away is fulfilling a bigger purpose. And that brings her joy. And when she's in joy, I'm in joy. And so that's a promise I'm going to make to myself, to my mom, to my dad who's no longer here on this earth, and to all those beings who, seen and unseen, who are here on this journey with me, that I'm going to just keep saying yes to fulfilling the journey that is here, right here before me. My name on it, Phoenix's journey. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to walk and I'm going to keep my blinders on and I'm going to keep on taking those steps forward and I'm going to welcome onto my path what's for me. And if it's not for me, no, 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 no. If it's not for me, if it's not in support of this bigger journey, of this path that's unfolding, of allowing my heart to feel like, yes, it is expressing itself totally, fully, and I'm aligned with my soul's purpose, that's what I'm here for, whatever it looks like. And if it doesn't fit somebody's box, yeah, it sucks sometimes not to be able to fit things nice and neatly in a box. But that's not what this is about, is it? I don't really think this lifetime is about being fit neatly into a box. I think that this lifetime is actually about expanding, smashing, dismantling any of those boxes that have kept us fixed, stuck, held in some patterns that no longer serve us, so that we can actually pop out of the box and allow our fullness, like the full spectrum of our humanness and like the full glory of our soul's purpose to be unleashed into the world, to be a catalyst for change, transformation. That turns me on. Can you tell? I'm turned on. Moving back to America, obliged by some past European paradigm, does not turn me on. Though being an agent of change and co-creation and being aligned with my heart's truth, fuck yeah, turns me on And I'm going to keep on following that. And if there's any way that I can support you to follow that which turns you on and that supports you to listen more deeply to your heart and follow that unapologetically, despite what any of the, the haters, the confronters, the ones who are just like, no, I can't understand you. So let me bash you. Let me tear you down because I can't understand you. I'm here on your team. I'm on this journey with you. So let's find the way together. Through the uncertainty, through the darkness, into that space that's right here, waiting for those of us who are ready to say yes, to enter into it. May that way be open. May that way be open so we can walk into our destiny with our heart's compass leading the way. Bless. Have a lovely day.